Do you ever struggle to understand British slang? Are you ever like, what did they just say? Did they just say something about a monkey? Often slang is impossible to translate because you can't translate it word for word. Welcome back to English with Catherine. Today I'm going to give you some slang that I actually use personally and that many other people in Britain also use. What are we waiting for? Let's just get started. Oh, don't forget to watch to the end of the video. We have a word of the week. Well, it's more of a kind of piece of modern slang. You'll see what I mean. Number 1, fiver, tenner, quid. What do you think this is related to? Money. Daily English slang for money. You know, it's really easy to say, can you lend me a fiver, please? Can I just borrow a tenner? Oh, it's only a couple of quid. It's only a couple of quid. Fiver, £5. Now, with the use of contactless debit cards now, obviously cash is on the way out. I don't think you can even pay cash on a bus now in London. Crazy. But still, cash is important for some things. Parking, I actually can't think of any other uses for cash, but we still do have cash, so we do need some slang for it. Tenner, £10. Quid means pound. So a quid is £1. You get the idea. Number 2, daft. Don't be daft. Now this is related to being a bit stupid, being a bit ignorant on something. For example, someone says something that you believe to be completely incorrect or just completely wrong in all ways. You can say, oh, don't be daft. Don't be ridiculous. Ridiculous is another word for daft, but daft is very much in slang. So you will hear British people saying that between each other when they're having conversation. Number 3, to fancy someone. To fancy someone. Now you've probably heard fancy being used in making plans. So people say, do you fancy this or do you fancy doing this when they're making suggestions of what to do. But if you say, do you fancy someone or I fancy someone, it means you find them physically attractive. So the other day, my friend who's single, she went on a date. She went on a date and I asked her, how did it go? I texted her, how did the date go? And she kept mentioning the food at the restaurant and I was like, yeah, forget that. Did you fancy him? Did you fancy him or not? Did you find him physically attractive? Was there a connection? And she said no, sadly not. On to the next one. Number 4, Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle. This is a great one. This is what we say when, in conclusion, and there you have it, and here we are. I'll give you an example. All you have to do is order the furniture from IKEA. It comes to your house in a box, you unpack it, you build it, and Bob's your uncle, you have a desk. There you have it, you have a desk. This one's a little strange for me because Bob is actually my dad, not my uncle. Bob is short for Robert as a name, and my dad very often gets called Bob, so little fun fact there for you. Another example of that expression was the other day my mum couldn't work out how to change the desktop on her laptop. She wanted to put a nice picture up of her just in the garden. And I said to her, all you have to do is right click on desktop, scroll down, click on change desktop, select the picture you want, click on it, and Bob's your uncle, your desktop will be changed. Needless to say, she did not manage to change the desktop. I take after mum in that way. I'm really bad with technology. To take after means to inherit something genetically from your parents or your ancestors, physically or mentally. Number 5, the local. The local. Now I've managed to come all this way without mentioning anything to do with alcohol yet. But we have now arrived at the alcohol section. So the local refers to the nearest pub to your home. It's very important to have a good local. When you're deciding where to live, you should always research the pubs in the area. Got to find a good one. Read all the reviews. It's got to be friendly, good food, good atmosphere, preferably a nice open log fire with a great dog. Very often I will message Tom on a Friday when we're really busy at work. Oh, do you fancy going for a drink later at the local? Shall we go to the local for a drink tonight? It's really easy to say actually, and Tom immediately knows that I mean the local pub, the nearest pub, which is actually only 15 minutes walk from us, which is perfect. Number 6, Codswallop. Codswallop. It's the greatest word of all time. It's got nothing to do with cod or fish or walloping. It means nonsense. Complete nonsense. What a load of codswallop. That is a load of codswallop. Meaning that is a load of nonsense. What are you talking about? Now often I say this slightly rudely when people tell me about conspiracy theories they have. I just can't hold back. Sometimes I just have to let loose and tell them what I think, and very often it comes out like that. That's a load of old Codswallop. Sorry to tell you. Now, don't take offence if you are a conspiracy theorist. Good luck to you. Number 7, slump. Slump. Now, I actually taught this recently on Instagram, so if you're not following me, click follow, because I do share quite often some reels about daily English. Now, a slump refers to a dip in energy, usually in the working day from 9 to 5, at around 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. There's a kind of slump usually in energy levels. Everyone feels like they need some cake or something, like a cup of tea, to get them through the day. So we often say, oh, I'm having a slump, or I've got the 4 p.m. slump, or referring to the 3 p.m. slump. Let's put the kettle on to bring everyone back to life. A slump is just a dip. It's amazing slang that I use a lot, so I love that one. It's also really satisfying to say, slump. It's great. Number 8, to hit a wall. To hit a wall. This one is brilliant, so useful. I use it a lot. The reason I've put it on my list for this video, because I realised that I've said it a lot lately. To hit a wall is to hit an obstacle that's stopping you from going any further. Maybe you're in the process of organising something difficult, like a hen party or a wedding, or you're working on a project at work and you come up against an obstacle that prevents you from going further. You could also use it if whatever you're doing is just becoming too difficult and you feel like you can't go any further. You either just need to stop and have a break or reassess the situation. My friend was giving up sugar. She just texted me the other day saying, I've hit a wall with giving up sugar, because I think she was really busy at work and she had a craving for chocolate, which is what usually happens with stress. So she texted me saying that. To use it in another context, many new businesses, they hit a wall once they've got to a certain level because they don't know how to get new customers or new business. So they grow and then they kind of hit a wall, like they can't go any further and they need to stop, reassess the situation and work out what's the next step. Number 9. The Lurgy. The Lurgy. This looks like Lurgy, but it's not. It's a really strong G. The Lurgy. What do you think this means? So this is slang for an illness, a common everyday illness like a cold or maybe even the flu, but not really serious flu. What we often say is, I've got the lurgy. I can't come tonight, I've got the lurgy. Or she's got the lurgy, don't go anywhere near her. So it's really just a positive way of talking about being ill and maybe not being able to go to something and feeling really bad about it, but trying to make light of it so that it doesn't turn into a really depressing situation. Number 10, buzzing. Buzzing. I'm buzzing for something. What do you think it means? So this means you have a lot of excited energy inside you because you're really happy about something that's going to happen really soon. So we say, I'm buzzing for my holiday, or I'm buzzing for my wedding or for my hen party. I'm buzzing for my hen party. I've got one coming up in August. This one's just a family one, just with my sister and my mum, but I'm buzzing for it. I can't wait. Okay guys, here's the slang of the week. FOMO. FOMO. This is actually an acronym. An acronym is when you get a word that's actually made up of capital letters that stand for a word. Each one stands for a word. So FOMO stands for fear of missing out. 1 second. Every time. It's like he knows. He knows when I'm filming. By the way, this is not my dog. This is the neighbour's dog. He's more of a kind of crazy wild hound, actually. So, fear of missing out is, you know that feeling when you get invited to something and you can't go for some reason and you have FOMO. And that is that feeling where you feel you're missing out on something. You're not going to something and you wish you were. You say, I have serious FOMO. And I had this feeling when everyone was at Glastonbury Festival recently. I've been to Glastonbury Festival once in my life and I love music festivals in general, but this year I was too busy to go to a music festival because I've been planning a wedding. So I had serious FOMO when Glastonbury was on and all the pictures were on Instagram. Oh, I just felt like I really wanted to be there. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always interesting when you're learning a language to learn about the culture at the same time. I feel like it stops it getting boring and keeps it fresh. And thank you as ever for your support, your ongoing support. I so appreciate it. Have a beautiful weekend and I'll see you next Friday.